Donald Trump don't pursue them. Jesus. Donald Trump don't pursue some people. Yeah. Donald Trump don't pursue them. See them. Where are they run? Where's the apple?
A clear example. In 2022, Nigeria's Court of Appeal struck down the charges against him and ordered his release. The UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention has also called for his unconditional release. Yet he remains in solitary confinement, in deteriorating health, and recently had to represent himself in court. Nigeria has signaled that the law is optional and targeting Christians is fair game. Just hours ago this morning, despite the pleas and cries of the Nigerian people and many Nigerian lawmakers, Nnamdi Kanu was convicted on all charges. For fiscal year 2025, the U.S. has requested nearly $8 billion for sub-Saharan Africa. But when Americans see political prisoners, judicial defiance, and the slaughter of Christians, they understandably ask as they meet their own struggles, why should our tax dollars support governments that refuse to protect their own people? Is our aid aiding a genocide? Nigeria is a nation of tremendous potential, but that potential is being choked out by violent persecution of its Christian population. No country can build a stable future where churches are burned, believers are killed, and communities live in fear.
Although I'm not really persuaded, but I must temper justice with mercy. The court is moved by chapter 23, verse 23 of Matthew, in the book of Matthew, to the fact that who unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithes of mint and anise and cumin, and has omitted the weightier matter of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. This you ought to have done, particularly, and must notice the words in Matthew 23 and verse 23, the word mercy. Our Lord himself is merciful. No matter what we do, he is a merciful God. It is on that note that the court will follow this above admonition of Jesus Christ in the above passage and show mercy to the convicts. In addition, the death penalty globally is now being frowned upon by the international community. Consequently, and in the interest of justice, I hereby sentence the convicts to life imprisonment for the said counts 1, 4, 5, and 6 instead of death sentence. Life is sacred to God. With respect to count 3, he is hereby sentenced to 20 years imprisonment without no option or fine. For count 7, he is sentenced to 5 years imprisonment without no option or fine. To extend the mercy, I hereby order that the sentence shall run concurrently. And due to the nature of the offenses that borders on terrorism and the attitude, violent nature of the defendants that I have taken judicial notice. The last adjourned date, he was so unruly and expressed violence, even was about to beat the security officers there. This morning, he repeated same.
We are today in Nigeria. Look at where we are. Nigeria is in the throes of some of its worst security situation. And this is what we are wasting our time doing. We have 35 Christians at the time that we have been accused of persecution of Christians in the bush, attacked by terrorists who were live streamed. You have 25 female students, Muslims, also in the bush with terrorists. You have an army general who has just been murdered by terrorists. You are not focused on that. You are trying Nnamdi Kanu because he carried the microphone to say that he wants Biafra. The only evidence they have in this court is the microphone that they found with him when he was arrested in Lagos. His underwear, top and bottom. There is no evidence of a gun or an RPG. He was not found with police uniforms. Whereas in Katsina, someone killed an assistant commissioner of police, kept his uniform and wore the uniform to a peace conference, the so-called peace conference. And nothing is done about it. They bring their magazines and their AK-47s and their anti-aircraft guns to meetings. You can't do anything about them, but it's the guy who wears a nice Fendi and a microphone and says, we want justice. 10 years. You can't figure it out. Anytime the person opening the door to a civil court is a military man, that's no longer a civil trial. That one has become a court martial. And this case, as a result, has suffered that credibility from day one. Apart from other problems, one of which is the kidnapping, what is known as the extraordinary rendition of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. You cannot cure that. You cannot cure the absence of evidence. You cannot cure every other problem you brought upon yourself in this case from day one. And that's what we have told them. And in general, because this is also foundational to Nigeria, Nigeria is in search of unity, they claim. Nigeria is in search of nationhood because it has never become a nation. If you want to make that happen, you do justice to all the components of Nigeria. You don't discriminate against somebody because his name is somebody you don't like, or because his religion is what you can't stand, and then you expect the country to be united. That is not going to happen. So, in doing this, we're also encouraging them to have the national healing that can bring about national unity, since they love unity very much. But there can never be unity without justice. I don't advise government. They have over 2,000 advisors. Anybody who's advising government in Nigeria is the enemy of government.